Welcome to the second part of the lecture on finite element analysis. In this part of lecture, we are going to see what is an engineering problem and how to convert this engineering problem into a mathematical model. Okay. To explain the engineering problem, here I am considering a taper rod which is subjected to an axial load at the free end, and we are going to consider the self weight of the taper rod also, right? So the same example we discussed in the first part of the lecture. So in that discussion we came to know that this taper rod subjected to axial load as well as the self weight cannot be solved analytically, right? That means the exact solution is not possible for this type of problem. So we are going to use a finite element method to solve this type of problem. So I'm considering the same example, and we are going to solve this problem using finite element method also. So now we will see what is an engineering problem, right? So for any engineering problem, we have to define that problem using four parameter which we have already discussed. So what are the four parameter? First one is the load, then geometry, material property, and boundary conditions. Now coming to this example, taper rod example. Now in this example, this taper rod is fixed at the top end, and the other end is free, and this free end we have load acting at free P, that is P Newton, right? So this is called the boundary condition. One end is fixed, other end is free, and in the free end we have load acting. Now then second one is the taper rod which is having a variable cross section. So the area of boundary condition is defined. So the variable cross section, so area is A of x. Area of cross section is varying with respect to x. When you measure this x from the fixed end, this is the direction of the x, and L represent the length of the rod. So these two are the geometrical parameter. Then next, coming to the material, right? If this taper rod is made of some material, then we have to define that material property. For structural problem, we used Young's modulus as the material property. So E is the material property. And when coming to the load, so one load is acting at the free end P, constant or point load, and we are considering the self weight of the taper rod also, right? So the self weight is a variable one. With respect to x, the self weight will increase. That means at the fixed end, self weight of the rod will be 0, and the self weight will increase gradually. When you come to the fixed free end, the self weight will be the maximum. So the self weight is a variable load. So that is why your load parameter is also a variable, and the geometrical parameter is also a variable. That is why this taper rod problem will become non-integrable equation, will yield a non-integral equation. That is why we say that it is not possible to get the exact solution. Okay. Okay. Now we have understood that what is an engineering problem. Now we proceed to the mathematical model. How to convert an engineering problem into a mathematical model. So first we will see what is a mathematical model. So a mathematical model is nothing but a set of algebraic differential or integral equation that govern the physical phenomenon of a particular system. So any physical phenomenon should be converted in terms of mathematical equation, then only we can do the further analysis of that particular phenomenon. So as an engineer, we want to first understand the physical phenomenon, then only we will use that particular phenomenon for the humans, right? So the useful things can be get out of that first by understanding that physical phenomenon. Say for example, movement of a car or rotation of a blade, any type of phenomenon can be expressed in terms of a mathematical equation, right? Now when we make this mathematical model, right, when we convert a physical phenomenon into a mathematical equations, we have to use certain set of assumptions and laws, theorems, all these things, so based on the laws of physics. So uh, when we use this assumption, so we are allowing some errors in that particular mathematical model. These type of errors are called modeling error, right? So whenever we use the assumption, means we are trying to simplify that physical phenomenon to make easy conversion of the mathematical equation. Okay. So now we will take that example of taper rod problem. So how to convert these taper rod problem into a mathematical model. So to convert an engineering problem into a mathematical model, first we have to use this equilibrium equation, then we have to use the constitutive equation. By using these two set of equation, we are able to we are able to convert the physical problem into a mathematical model. So for structural problems like this, first we try to use the force equilibrium equation, then we will use the constitutive equation. We will see the procedure. So now here I am showing that taper rod, right, which is fixed at one end, and in the free end the point load is acting, and we are considering the self weight also. Now to establish this mathematical model, we are going to consider the elemental length dx, right? So for this elemental length dx, we are going to draw the free body diagram. So what is a free body diagram? So free body diagram is nothing but an isolated body, right? So a body which is isolated from its surroundings, and we have to incorporate all the forces acting over that body. That is called a free body diagram. So isolated body with forces acting on it is called a free body diagram. Here we are going to isolate this small elemental length dx, right? That is called as free body diagram. Here this is the dx length, so this is the variable cross section, we are showing it. So in the left side the cross section is larger, right side cross section is smaller. So now the forces are expressed in terms of the stress here. So stress multiplied by area is nothing but the load acting on the particular plane, right? Similarly in the right hand side, so since the area of cross section is changing, right, so the stress variation will be there. So since the left side the area of cross section is larger and the right side it is smaller, so there will be small incremental in stress value. That increment is considered as d sigma. So in the right hand side it is sigma plus d sigma, then you multiply the stress with the area, then we will get the corresponding load acting on this right side plane, and this is the force acting on the left side plane, sigma into a of x. And for this dx length we are considering the self weight also, right? So this gamma is called a weight density, which is measured in Newton per meter cube, and when you multiply this weight density by volume, this is the elemental volume, so area of cross section multiplied by dx, so this is elemental volume, so which will give you the load due to the self weight. So there are three forces acting in this body. So by using these three forces we can frame the element characteristic, we can frame the equilibrium equation. Okay, so that equilibrium equation we will see in the next slide. Now you see this equilibrium condition. So since it is a structural problem, we have to use the force equilibrium equation, sigma f equal to 0. So in the free body diagram, the previous slide, we have seen that there are three forces acting. So considering one force as positive and another opposite one is negative, then we will get the corresponding plus or minus sign. So now the force acting from left to right is considered as positive. So sigma plus d sigma multiplied by a of x so which is coming out of the body considered as positive, and force coming into the body sigma into A of x is considered as negative. Then the self weight gamma A of x dx, right, this is also positive. So now these are the summation of these forces equal to 0. Now we simplify this, we can cancel the sigma into A of x, sigma into A of x, then remaining will be d sigma A of x and gamma A of x dx. Okay, now divide this equation throughout this equation by dx, then we will get d sigma by dx multiplied by A of x, then gamma A of x, here dx will be get cancelled. So now in this equation the sigma, we are going to replace this sigma in terms of our variable. So for any structural problem the field variable will be displacement, here the deflection or displacement. So we are going to replace the sigma in terms of the variable displacement by using the constitutive equation. So how to replace the sigma in terms of the displacement, we will see the next slide. Okay, now we know that Hooke's law, right, this Hooke's law is nothing but the constitutive equation which is going to be applied here. So stress is equal to Young's modulus multiplied by strain. Okay, so that is stress is proportional to strain, so the E is the proportional constant. So now by using this equation, this is called the constitutive equation here. So now the sigma is can be expressed in terms of the variable u, right. What is strain? By definition, strain is nothing but change in length by original length. So here x is the direction, independent direction, u is the displacement along the x direction. So du by dx will be the strain along the x direction, this is by definition. So sigma can be replaced E multiplied by du by dx. Okay, now your equation, the previous equation will become d by dx, instead of sigma you have to replace E du by dx and A. So A is also a variable, so taken inside the bracket, and gamma A, right, equal to 0. Now see, this is the differential equation. So it is a second order differential equation, right, which is called governing differential equation for the phenomenon. What is our phenomenon? A taper rod which is subjected to a point load at free end, and we are considering the self weight of the taper rod also. So this is the governing differential equation or mathematical model for a taper rod problem. So when you write a mathematical model, we have to write three things. We will see in the next slide. So this is the mathematical model of a taper rod. So for a mathematical model we have to express the three things. So first one is governing differential equation which we derived earlier. So d by dx of Ea du by dx plus gamma A equal to 0. So this is the governing differential equation of this taper rod problem. And what is the domain, right? So because this rod is varying length from 0 to L, so the x is varying from 0 to L. This is the domain of this model, right? And boundary condition we have to explain. So the boundary condition here, one end is fixed and the other end we have the load P. Okay, so in the boundary condition, when you express the boundary in terms of the field variable, here what is the field variable? Displacement, right? So that boundary condition is called the essential boundary condition or primary boundary condition. And at the free end we have load P, right? So at x equal to L, so Ea du by dx, this is nothing but the load or force, right? So du by dx is strain multiplied by E is stress multiplied by A is force, right? So at x equal to L, the force acting is P, right? So this type of boundary condition, right, boundary condition which is expressed by derivative of the field variable is called the natural boundary condition or secondary boundary condition. So for a mathematical model of any physical phenomenon, we have to express the model like this. First you have to write what is the governing differential equation, then you have to express what is the domain and the boundary conditions. So most of the time we will get both the essential boundary condition and natural boundary conditions for the uh, physical problem. So I think now you will understand how to convert an engineering problem into a mathematical model. So if you want to convert an engineering problem into mathematical model, first we have to use these equilibrium conditions. Next we have to use the constitutive equation. So by using these two set of equation, we are able to derive the mathematical model for a physical phenomenon. Okay, now so this is earlier we have discussed we found that second order differential equation is the mathematical model for the taper rod problem, right? So similarly there are so many other situations or physical phenomena are there. All these phenomena can be defined by using that second order differential equation. Here it is shown that d by dx of a du by dx, the second order differential equation, which is equal to q, and the domain is 0 to L, and the essential boundary condition u equal at x equal to 0, what is u value, essential boundary condition, and the natural boundary condition at x equal to L, what is the derivative, right? A multiplied by d by dx, right? Q naught. So like that. So this is the mathematical model. Now this model is applicable for this situation, right? Say for example, if it is a heat transfer problem, so one dimensional heat flow is nothing but heat transfer problem. So in future we are going to see that also how this mathematical model is derived for a cooling fin problem, like that. So here also if you see the structure of the equation, d by dx of a k dt by dx plus q, right, equal to 0, where this a is called a cross sectional area, k is the thermal conductivity, dt by dx is the thermal gradient, q is the heat supply, right? So now similarly we have structural problem, axially loaded elastic bar. This is what we derived now. So d by dx of ea du by dx plus b is a axial loading condition, right? So here we are considering that self weight. This is the in the table itself you see the constitutive law, what is used here, right? For structural problem, Hooke's law. For thermal problem, it is Fourier law. And similarly in case of flexible string problem, right, we will get the same second order differential equation. Like that we will have fluid problem, electrical field problem, all these problem will have only second order differential equation as a mathematical model. So what we have to know here is, when you see a second order differential equation, we have to understand that that particular equation is defining a physical phenomenon, right? So now we are going to see in future lecture how to solve these equations, then we will proceed to the finite element method. Thank you for your patience listening.